It's January 2026, and somewhere in South Asia, doctors whisper a familiar phrase: unexplained fever, worsening fast, and families terrified. The headline says Nipah. You've heard the name, right? But do you actually know why that word makes officials tense? Here's the scary part. When Nipah hits hard, it can kill quickly, sometimes within days after looking like a simple flu. And yet the world isn't shutting down. No empty highways, no toilet paper wars. So what's different this time, right now? Tonight, I'll walk you through the paradox. A virus that's brutally lethal, but usually not brutally contagious, and that's the whole point. We'll separate fear from facts and facts from rumors because your brain deserves better than doom scrolling, okay? These days, online anyway. And we'll end with a checklist. What to avoid, what to watch, and what a prepared world should actually do. Ready? Take a breath. Because this story starts small. One patient, one family, one "why is this happening" moment in real life. In late January, WHO reports Nipah cases again in India and Bangladesh. Not millions, just a few, but enough to alarm. One case can trigger airport temperature checks, social media panic, and that familiar sentence: is this the next COVID? Right now. But WHO's risk assessment says global spread is low right now, even while local areas stay on high alert this week. That sounds reassuring until you realize low spread doesn't mean low danger for the people who actually catch it these days. So let's zoom in. What is Nipah? Where does it live? And how does it jump into human bodies today? Exactly. Because once you see the root, you also see the breaks. Places where smart behavior can stop the chain early right now. And yes, you'll hear scary numbers, but we'll always ask, is this a personal risk or a society-wide spread risk? That difference is everything. It's the gap between a tragic outbreak and a global lockdown, and that's why this matters today. So before we panic, let's meet Nipah the way scientists do. By its behavior, not its headlines in real life. If you've ever wondered why officials fear bat viruses, this is your answer. Without the Hollywood nonsense in the real world. And if you're thinking, I'm in America, so why care? Hold that thought. Disease ecology ignores passports for now. Okay, first character in our story isn't a person, it's a bat, hanging upside down, minding its own business these days. Nipah's natural home is fruit bats, especially flying foxes. They can carry it without looking sick at all in real life. Think of bats as an airport hub for viruses. Crowded, mobile, and constantly interacting with farms and forests for most people. Most of the time, nothing happens. But sometimes the virus finds a bridge. Food, animals, or close human contact, if we're honest. In Malaysia's first big outbreak, pigs became that bridge. Farmers got sick after intense contact with infected animals on the ground. In Bangladesh, a different bridge shows up in winter: raw date palm sap, collected overnight in open containers as we speak. Bats love that sweet sap. They lick the stream, leave saliva or urine, and the cup becomes a silent delivery system. Would you drink something if you knew a wild animal visited it at 2 a.m.? Most people never get that warning. That's why prevention isn't magic. It's boring barriers, covers on sap pots, clean handling, and avoiding risky raw products right now. Now, Nipah can also spread person to person. Not like measles, but enough to cause hospital clusters for now. It often happens during caregiving. Family members wiping saliva, nurses adjusting oxygen masks, loved ones refusing to step back in real life. And honestly, can you blame them? If your parent is gasping, you don't think about droplets, you think about survival. So the virus's path is a map of human tenderness, plus a few risky foods and crowded healthcare rooms in plain sight. Now that we know the roots, let's talk about what it does inside the body and why doctors fear the brain these days. Nipah often begins like a bad cold. Fever, headache, muscle pain, sore throat, sometimes vomiting or diarrhea in 2026. Then, for some patients, breathing gets harder. A cough turns wet, oxygen drops, and lungs start feeling like sponges for now. But the signature terror is neurological. Confusion, drowsiness, seizures, like the lights flickering in the brain right now. In severe cases, encephalitis can lead to coma fast. Families say it feels like losing someone while they're still there on the ground. And the fatality rate? Yachu summarizes outbreaks with a rough range: 40 to 75%, depending on context if we're honest. That number is why Nipah gets the nightmare virus nickname online, although that label can mislead more than help for now. Because high lethality doesn't automatically mean high spread. Ebola taught us that. So did MERS in 2026. Nipah's incubation is usually 3 to 14 days, but rare reports stretch longer, up to about 45 days for now. That long tail matters for contact tracing. Imagine trying to remember every hug, every meal, every hospital visit for weeks in real life. And there's no widely approved vaccine yet and no proven specific cure. Treatment is mostly supportive, intensive care these days. So if you catch it, you want early detection and good hospital care. But prevention is still the real superpower right now. Now I can feel you asking, if it's that deadly, why aren't we seeing waves across continents as people go about life? This is where we compare two monsters, Nipah and COVID-19. One is a killer, the other is a sprinter for now. COVID spreads efficiently through air, including before symptoms. Nipah, so far, mostly needs closer, messier contact in real life. That difference changes everything. Who gets exposed, how fast it travels, and whether society notices before it's everywhere on the ground. So let's talk numbers, but the right numbers. Transmission chains, not just death rates. Ready for the R story right now? In Bangladesh data across many years, researchers estimated Nipah's average spread is below 1. Roughly R equals 0.33. That means most cases don't replace themselves. One patient infects 0 or 1, and the chain often burns out for now. But there's a catch. Some patients transmit more, especially when they have severe breathing symptoms and lots of close care in real life. That's the super spreader logic, not magic. Just biology plus human proximity. Like crowded wards, not crowded beaches for most of us. COVID-19, in contrast, spreads in everyday air-sharing spaces. Bars, offices, buses. You can't trace what you can't see right now. And COVID can transmit before you feel sick. So by the time you test positive, you've already had brunch with friends as we speak. Nipah's typical pattern is harsher. People get very sick, fast. That can actually limit movement and opportunities to spread in plain sight. So yes, your intuition is right. A world with COVID experience has tools. Testing, isolation, PTE, contact tracing muscle memory in 2026. When a hospital hears possible Nipah, they don't start from zero. They start from a playbook built in 2020 for now. Still, playbooks work only if they're used. If clinicians miss it as just pneumonia, the early window closes quietly in real life. That's why surveillance matters. The threat isn't instant global spread, it's delayed detection in the wrong place on the ground. And another myth, airport screening alone won't save you. Temperature checks miss incubation, and miss people taking pills if we're honest. So the real shield is layered. Community awareness, hospital infection control, rapid testing, and honest reporting for now. Now, if Nipah ever evolves toward easier airborne spread, those layers get stressed fast. That's the big if in real life. Scientists watch for signals. More respiratory cases, longer chains, infections with no clear bat or animal exposure right now. So far, we mostly see short chains. That's comforting, but it's not permission to ignore. It's a call to prepare in 2026. And that takes us to WHO's big red flag. Not panic, but prioritize research now. Enter the R&D Blueprint for most people. WHO's R&D Blueprint is basically a short list of pathogens that could cause major outbreaks, but lack enough medical countermeasures. Nipah is on it because it's deadly, zoonotic, and unpredictable. It pops up, disappears, then returns when you relax right now. And unlike COVID-19, we don't have widely deployed vaccines or antivirals for Nipah, ready on every pharmacy shelf for now. So the plan is to buy time. Better diagnostics, faster alerts, and vaccine platforms that can sprint when the alarm rings in real life. This is the post-COVID lesson. Don't wait for the fire to reach your house before installing smoke detectors on the ground. But research isn't just labs, it's also community behavior, like covering sap collection pots so bats can't sip at night as we speak. Trials in Bangladesh tested these simple covers, and they reduced bat contact with ESAP. Low tech, high impact for now. That's the vibe of Nipah prevention. Stop spillover first, because once it's in humans, every close interaction becomes risky in real life. Now let's address the comment section. Isn't this another lab leak? With Nipah, the evidence points to wildlife spillover for most people. So the real debate isn't conspiracy, it's capacity. Can hospitals isolate fast and can labs confirm fast before rumors win? Because the first days decide the story. Early isolation turns a potential cluster into a single tragic case in plain sight. And we should be honest, Media headlines can overshoot. Fear spreads faster than viruses, especially on your phone right now. So our job is to stay calm and precise. High lethality, limited transmission so far, but serious research priority for now. Okay, so what do we actually do tomorrow morning? Here comes the practical checklist. No drama, just moves. You can start today. First, if you're traveling in affected regions, avoid raw date palm sap and unknown fresh juices sold without hygiene for now. Second, wash and peel fruit. If bats can reach it, assume they did. Sounds paranoid, but it's basic food safety in real life. Third, don't touch sick animals and be cautious around pig farms during outbreaks. Zoonotic bridges are real right now. Fourth, if you have fever plus breathing trouble after risky exposure, seek care early and tell clinicians your travel history this week. Fifth, for caregivers, love is brave, but protection is love too. Use masks, gloves, and avoid direct saliva contact in real life. In hospitals, the rule is layered precautions, contact and droplet measures, and airborne protection during aerosol procedures for now. For governments, invest in diagnostics and reporting, not just border theater. A test in a clinic beats a thermometer at arrivals in 2026. For researchers, push vaccines and therapeutics now, while cases are small. That's what Blueprint means. Sprint early on the ground. And for all of us, share verified info, not panic. Ask, what's the source, Mar, before you repost a scary screenshot right now. If you're thinking, so should I be worried? Here's my answer. Be aware, not afraid. Prepared, not obsessed in real life. Because the lesson of COVID wasn't permanent panic. It was permanent capability. Fast tests, honest data, and smart habits for most people. Nipah reminds us that nature keeps rolling dice. Most rolls are nothing, but we prepare for the rare bad roll right now. So keep the checklist, respect the science, and watch the signals. Respiratory clusters, longer chains, unexplained spread for now. Let me ask you, would you rather fund airport screens or fund hospitals and labs? One looks strong, the other saves lives. Drop your take in the comments, calmly. And if this video helped, share it with someone who doom scrolls late at night for now. Tonight's story ends here. Nipah is dangerous but not destiny. The difference is preparation, and you're part of it on the ground.